Put the weapon down. I've got a big board game and I'm not afraid to use it. That's it. Look, mate, we both have cooperative board games. I think we're supposed to be on the same side. Ah, welcome to the team. Fully cooperative board games are games which involves players working together on a united front to beat a board game system situated in the game itself. Think of it like Captain Kirk and his crew on the Enterprise exploring the galaxy and overcoming any threats that come their way. Each crew member on the Enterprise has their role to play to help their team fulfill the mission. In this video, we look at 5 easily accessible cooperative gateway board games to introduce to new players. Competitive games can often deter some people from playing a game because they either feel underskilled or inexperienced. Cooperative games, however, embrace this inexperience as players help each other to fulfill a common goal: winning. Forbidden Island. In Forbidden Island, players take on the role of adventurers who must escape an island that is sinking right beneath their feet. Players will work together to buy them some time by shoring up the island, collecting its 4 treasures, and hopefully escaping by helicopter before the island disappears forever. The 24 Forbidden Island tiles are displayed out in front of the players as shown. Throughout the game, players will be traversing this island by moving from tile to tile with the aim of reaching certain tiles where they can cash in 4 identical treasure cards to claim a treasure from the sinking island. Treasure cards are acquired from turn to turn when players draw from the treasure deck. However, the combination of cards that players draw may not be enough or in the right combination to claim a treasure, so players will need to work together to meet and swap treasure cards until they do so. To add further threat to the game, whilst players are collecting their sets of cards, the island will be gradually sinking, as indicated by flipping island tiles from turn to turn from the flood deck. At the end of a certain player's turn, the water might rise, meaning that the water level increases and places that were previously flooded may now become flooded again. To add further detriment to players, if a tile is already flipped over and is flooded again, that particular tile disappears forever. The game does arm players with an artillery of actions, however, including being able to shore up the island, which allows players to flip flooded tiles back over, and each player has special unique actions that they can use to help assist in completing their mission. Forbidden Island is often known as the simpler version of the board game Pandemic, and that's probably because it's designed by the same board game designer. It features an easy rule set, a beautiful table presence, and plenty of light decision-making opportunities. In fact, this game really provokes some great strategic thinking opportunities and really engages all players in some deep conversations about how to overcome the threats that the board game throws their way. Players are constantly juggling the best way to optimize and utilize their character's special ability, as well as managing where they are on the ever-changing board game state. It's these elements that make Forbidden Island a perfect gateway cooperative board game. Do you think we have any chance of winning this game? Look, I wouldn't be holding my breath. Just One. Just One is a word guessing game where one player has to guess an unknown word by examining one-word clues given by all of the other players. There is a little twist, however. Any matching or similar clues given by the other players are cancelled out, and thus making it more difficult for the guessing player to guess their word. Across 13 rounds, the team will take it in turns, becoming the guessing player, and try to guess as many words as possible. If they guess all 13 words correctly, they win the game. Just One is like Celebrity Heads, except instead of celebrities, you have everyday words like mummy, bubble, and cookie. Throughout a game, players will take it in turns to become the guesser, and the other players at the table will become the clue givers. The aim of the game is to have the clue givers each give a one-word clue so that there is enough information at the table for the clue guesser to guess their word. Yes, the entire table is helping and watching you. There is a catch. Any one-word clues that happen to match, including words from the same family, are cancelled out and placed face down, meaning that the clue guesser has less information to work with.
It's a brilliant game where the clue guessers have to be specific enough with their clue to not confuse or lead the word guesser away from their answer, but also not to be too general as to have their word cancelled out. Players win if they can score a perfect total of 13 out of 13 rounds.
Just One is a super awesome game that's fast to play and one that doesn't require too much heavy thinking. It is a game that has all players constantly engaged and doing something, which is very important for a party game. The true beauty in terms of the level of fun that this game evokes lies in the clue giving. Players will have to draw on their different interpretations of a word, their understanding of the meaning of the word, as well as their personal experiences to try and produce a clue that's going to really lead the word guesser to the right answer. In one round, the word guesser had to guess the word rock, and one player wrote wrestler, and another person wrote film, and the third player wrote geology. So players bring their own level of experiences to the game, which really makes this game so memorable and leads to some very laugh out loud moments. There is a risk to clue giving and being a clue giver, because if you give a clue that's too general, another person might give the same clue, and thus you are risking getting your clues eliminated or cancelled, and thus making it harder for the word guesser to guess their word. And if you give a clue that's too out there and too cryptic, that might lead the word guesser down the wrong path. What I really love about cooperative games is at the beginning of the game, you all kind of stick together, kind of like this bunch of bananas. But as soon as one player deviates, that's when your entire plan falls apart.
Horrified.
Horrified is a cooperative board game that is based on the ever-popular Universal Studios monsters, including Frankenstein, the Invisible Man, and Dracula himself. Throughout the game, players will be banding together to fight the darkness in order to banish the monsters before time runs out or the terror level gets too high. If players do so, they'll win the game.
Who doesn't like a classic monster film? Except in this one, you and your friends have the leading role. Throughout the game, players will be taking on the role of various characters with different abilities who will travel around the town gathering blue, red, and yellow clues with the aim of using them to defeat up to 3 to 4 monsters. Each monster has a very unique way of being defeated. The Mummy requires players to spend yellow clues at the museum to solve a number puzzle. Dracula has you searching for his coffins around town and destroying them, whilst Frankenstein and his bride will have you stopping their romance from ever blossoming. Across the game, villagers will also appear, and you'll have to divert your attention from your monster-crushing duties to help those villagers reach their destination. Each round, players will draw from the monster deck that will cause some players to face their greatest fear: rolling dice. Rolling a star means you have to lose an item that you're carrying, and rolling an exclamation mark means that you'll have to go backwards on a monster that you've worked so incredibly hard on.
Horrified is superbly thrilling because it's incredibly thematic and puzzly at the same time. The combination of how players defeat each monster will well and truly stretch players to their limit. The game map itself has so many dead ends, which makes the game incredibly restrictive and tense at the same time. Players will constantly feel like the walls are closing in on them. Is it just me, or do you feel like we're really close together? Well, it was your idea to play this game in the laundry.
Hanabi.
Hanabi is a cooperative card game where players are working together to launch 5 different coloured sets of fireworks. The game is simple. Play all of the cards from 1 to 5 in each of the coloured sets in ascending order, and all players will win the game. However, there is a catch. You are not allowed to look at the cards that you have in your own hand. You may only look at the cards in all of the other players' hands. So players will have to communicate with each other effectively to give the right clues and time it right, because if they don't, their firework display may fizzle out.
These 8 blue clock tokens are the lifeline for players in a game of Hanabi. Each time a player provides a clue, one of these blue tokens is placed in the box. It basically acts as a ticker timer. Clues are given in the form of either a colour or number. For example, a player might say to you, "You have 3 green cards," and point to them in your hand. Or they might say, "You have 1 card with a value of 5," and point to it in your hand. A player who is then sure of a card that they're holding, and remember, players can't see their own cards, they can then play that card that they've chosen to either start or continue a coloured set of fireworks. If a player plays a card incorrectly, the group then loses a black token, which means they are 1 step closer to going bust.
Hanabi is an amazing game due to its simplicity and focused gameplay. The beauty of the game's design is embedded in the power of knowing what each player has. Knowing what colours or numbers the other players have and deducing the best info to give to them from their point of view is critical for allowing them to narrow down what they think they have in their hands and ultimately play their cards correctly. It is immensely satisfying to see that when you're in the middle of a game, when all players suddenly click into what clues need to be given to each other in order to beat this tiny beast of a game.
Magic Maze.
Magic Maze is a real-time co-op game where players are racing against the hourglass to break into a shopping mall to find their necessary equipment and escape before the security guards can catch them. If players achieve this before time runs out, they'll all be declared wanted criminals and also win the game.
Throughout a game of Magic Maze, players will be guiding their 4 heroes to their item spaces signified by these 4 coloured squares. When each hero is on their corresponding square, the alarm in the mall will go off and all the portals in the mall will be closed and players will have to guide the 4 heroes to the exit space. If all 4 heroes escape before time is out, then all the players win. The main caveat here is that each player in the game is controlling a different series of actions. One player might be controlling the portals and moving pawns of their choice in a westerly direction. Another player might be controlling the escalator movement and moving a pawn of their choice in the easterly direction. Additionally, players will be playing the game in silence. No talking is allowed, so players will have to constantly monitor the timer and the board state to infer what other players might be telling them what to do. Placing the giant red pawn in front of a player indicates to that player that an action is required from them, and it can be quite frustrating. It is a game of silent communication, and it's often played at a very frenetic pace.
Magic Maze is tons of fun. The labyrinth-like tiles that get revealed from round to round really add a huge level of variability and depth to the game, and players will always need to be thinking swiftly on their feet and scanning the maze to see where their pawns need to get to next in order to complete their route. It is a game that requires complete unison with each player playing their part like a well-oiled human being. The evolving layout from game to game means that there's a lot of variability from round to round, and the game even features a campaign mode that introduces new rules and challenges for extended gameplay. Thanks once again for joining me for another board game video at Board Game Sanctuary. Please cooperate and like, subscribe, and share this video with all your family and friends. Thank you once again for joining me. Please remember to keep playing games, stay safe, and I'll see you once again in the near future for another Board Game Sanctuary video. This is Danny signing out. Peace.